Hi everyone, I'm Maria Shaw Lawson, and I'm the astrologer for the National Enquirer and Soap Opera Digest. I'm also the author of 10 books published in 7 languages, and I've also hosted my own radio show on CBS. I would say that the biggest thing that I get asked in my astrology practice is, when am I going to get married? Or, have I met my soulmate yet? Well, if you have to ask, you probably haven't. But that's probably the biggest thing that I get asked are love questions. And I think that mostly women come to astrologers to find out about their future and the man that they're going to marry, or if they have problems in relationships. But one thing that I find very interesting is, just within the last 5 to 10 years, more and more men are coming to psychics and astrologers to find out about their love life. And one of the biggest things that I do when I do astrology is I take a person's birth chart, and I also take their partner's birth chart, and I look for compatibility, and I also look for the good, the bad, and the ugly, because every person that you're drawn to is here to teach you a lesson. That's why I tell everyone, bless all of your relationships, the good and the bad, because sometimes the most challenging relationships offer us the most opportunity to learn and for our soul's growth. I've been doing this for a very long time, and I was taught by my mother, who was a real estate executive by day and an astrologer by night. And I didn't even know anything about astrology. To me, it was like a foreign language. And my mom said, you know, you'd really be good at this. You're very, very intuitive. And so she taught me how to read the tarot, and she taught me how to do psychometry. And when I had mastered that, then she taught me how to do astrology. And astrology really is a different language. I can talk about the moon conjunct Saturn and Jupiter transit the sun, and no one really knows what that means. So I try to talk in layman's terms when I talk with clients and tell them, hey, this is going to be a great year. Or, hey, you've got somebody coming into your life, you know, January 2nd, be ready. But most of the questions, like I said, do have to pertain to love. The second question I get asked the most is, what am I here to do? What is my soul purpose? A lot of people really have no clue. And your astrology chart will tell you what you're supposed to do with your life, your karmic lesson, your soul lesson, and your life lesson. And in order to predict this, I look at 3 different aspects. I look at where Saturn is placed in your chart, because Saturn is a very karmic planet. I also look at the north and the south nodes, because they can tell us a lot about our past lives, about where we've been, and about where we're headed. And I also look at the placement of the sun. And then when I compare astrology charts, I take your partner's or your love interest chart and look at that compared with yours, and again, see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And mostly there's a lot of good. But there have been some relationships that I have told people to avoid like the plague, or I ask them, what the heck do you think you're doing? But overall, most people are drawn to each other for specific lessons or reasons. Sometimes it can be a past life thing. Sometimes it can be to help someone on their path. Sometimes it's just out of just pure love and attraction. But what I find interesting is if people know their astrology chart and they know what they're here to do, because it'll also show you who you're here to meet and when are likely times to get married, when are likely times for a soulmate to come in. But if you know your chart, you can be ready and take the opportunities. You still drive the car. I always say that astrology is like a roadmap of your life, but you still drive the car. You have power of free will to do anything that you want. But if you can stay true to your path and stay on that map, life can become a super highway. If you veer off a little bit and maybe take a wrong turn, you can reach a lot of roadblocks. But astrology is a wonderful tool and a great key in finding your soulmate, the love of your life, and avoiding some big roadblocks in relationships.